heart attack. Fast, fatal, heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let's give a brief little rundown. Now, I know I made a part 1 to this series a while back, and it never got a continuation. However, right now I'm going to be doing a soft reboot. Since that one never really got off the ground, hopefully this one will continue, and even actually maybe we'll have improvements on it. Now, with that being said, let us start with a story. We'll start with Izuku Midoriya's father. Izuku Midoriya's father, his powers are very basic. He has the ability to manipulate energy. And while that is simple and very basic, there actually is Deku's mother, who she is actually presumed to be quirkless. Now, Inko, she's had tests done before, but she never found out what her abilities were. Now, Hisashi Midoriya, he works quite a simple job. Whenever Deku was born, Hisashi actually started working at the Hero Committee, and many people, they noticed quite a few things. Hisashi Midoriya, he's a very cut and dry man. He's serious, he follows orders, and he does what needs to be done. Now, Hisashi was always seen as a bureaucrat, somebody who was a paper pusher and who they could rely on to do paperwork. However, as years started to go by, there actually was a few things that happened. Hisashi Midoriya, he seemed intriguing. And then there actually was Izuku. Izuku, he manifested his quirk. And Hisashi, he heard about his son's power. He thought it was kind of strange. At first, Deku's power was believed to be the same as Hisashi Midoriya's. He can absorb and redistribute energy. However, there actually was where he does come into contact with another person. And Deku's quirk has had to be categorized many times over and over and over again. Since whenever they perform tests on it after something else or new pops up, they find out more things. Like one simple fact. Deku, he learned that not only can he absorb lightning, electricity, or well, heat, he can actually also absorb powers. Now, Deku, he found this to be very odd and strange. And there actually was his first day of school, where many people, they were talking about their powers. And whenever it got to Deku's turn, Deku, he looked around. And right now, he actually is looking at a few of the kids, talking about what he can do. And many kids, they don't believe Deku. Deku, directly going to walk over, and directly grab on Bakugo's hand. Bakugo actually pulling it backwards, as he actually feels a slight shock. Him telling Izuku that that wasn't cool. Now, Deku does going to bring up his hand, and after he does show off an explosion, Bakugo, he actually is going to bring up his own hand, him setting off an explosion as well. Now, many people, they're alarmed and surprised, and Deku, he actually does talk about how he found out more about his powers. I mean, from what he does understand, they're a lot like his dad's, but they think that they're more advanced. Now, Deku, he actually does get somewhat popular with the kids, and many of them, they want to see Deku copy their abilities. And Deku, he does do so. But many of these abilities, they aren't flashy, they aren't all that good, and eventually Deku, he does see a bit of a limit. I mean, he's only 4, and so far his body is trying to readjust to many things it's been taking on. Now, there actually is currently Deku to stand there, As right now, after he actually did absorb a pair of wings from somebody, he actually is flapping them around as the back of his shirt was tore open. Now, Deku, he actually was floating up in the air, and Bakugo does come running over. Him showing that Deku, he really isn't all that cool. Now, one of the kids do go to comment to Bakugo. Is he sure? Because Izuku, he can take on powers. Yeah, Bakugo, I mean, look. Him bring out his hands. And after his hands do go to spark, Deku, he does just have a spark. Right now, he doesn't have Bakugo's powers. Now, Deku just stare down at his hands. That's not right. Now, Deku, he does talk to Bakugo. And Bakugo, he does shout back at him that he shouldn't copy his powers. And look, his power isn't all that great. It's not permanent. Now, Deku, he does stare down at his hands. As right now, after he does go land on the ground, Bakugo does go rushing forwards. Him going to push onto Deku with an explosion. Now, Deku, his clothes or his shirt does get somewhat scorched. As right now, Deku, he does go falling backwards, smashing onto his back. And right now, Deku does land directly on one of the wings. Deku, somewhat landing down, and somewhat wincing in pain. Him trying to get back up, as he does look back towards Bakugo. And Bakugo, he actually watches Deku step forwards before bringing up his own hand. Him blasting an explosion directly at him. Now, Deku and Bakugo, they actually do get into a bit of a fight. And right now, the teacher, they do get to break up Bakugo and Deku. However, Deku and Bakugo, yeah. There was nothing more than a simple slapboxing match. That was it. And the two, they were in physical contact for more than a minute. And Deku, he noticed something. The teacher talked about how Deku, whenever he made physical contact with Bakugo, it was over an hour, and he lost that power. But whenever Deku does get home later that day, more than 2 hours have passed. And the power, it stays with Deku up until dinner time. And Deku, he does think about that. I mean, his mom got a call, and Deku, he was told whenever he got home from Enko that he really needs to be more careful with his powers. And Deku, he did try to defend himself. It was all Bakugo's fault. Bakugo pushed him and shoved him, and he copied another kid's powers. He had wings. And, well, his back hurt after he landed. Now, Enko, yeah. She does somewhat think about what she just heard. And right now she's actually wondering if Deku, it's possible he might have broken something in one of those wings. But he should be okay. I mean, the wings, they're not a permanent part of him. Now, Enko does have that thought. Is it possible that whenever Deku's body mutates? Yeah, that would be the right word, right? This power, it's a mutation ability. But that is just an issue. Deku, his power mutates, yet he can do all these things that aren't normal. Now, Deku, he actually started to throw up his hand. And right after he does so, there's no explosion. And Deku just stared back down at it. He thought it was permanent this time. Oh well, maybe tomorrow. Let me what Deku just think. And right now Deku, he does start to go through his life. For a few months every day, people let Deku copy their powers. And some people, they do play with Deku. Deku, he is very popular. Deku, he's seen as somebody who will be a great hero one day. I mean, rescue, combat, you name it. I mean, if Deku could absorb fire, then, well, he's a good rescue hero. He can put out a burning building just by holding out his hands. And I mean, if there's a down power line, he can absorb the energy. That's pretty impressive, actually. Now, we do actually have a Midoriya, who, By this time, Deku, he started to pop up on a few people's radars. The Hero Committee, they were looking for people who were, what's the best turn of phrase here? They were useful. They were valuable. They were put in a position where they could take them in and possibly have another asset to them. Somebody who would work behind the shadows. I mean, they had Lady Nagant, somebody who has the power of a rifle in her own body. And right now, eyes are being drawn to a specific medical file. One that actually not only belongs to one of their own employees, belongs to their children. And what exactly is their power? There have been many tests, many things done to verify it. The kid who has this power in question, so far, he can absorb energy, such as electricity and fire. And he's just a kid. He also has the ability to copy quirks. He copied the quirk of a nurse. He copied the quirk of another doctor. He copied the quirk of another patient. I mean, his power, it's just what they're looking for, in fact. They need somebody who can work behind the shadows, but who can also be camouflaged. And right now, that's just it. If they can take in Deku as an asset, if they can take him on as somebody who can work behind the scenes, they can have another Lady Nagant. They can have somebody who can never be connected to one murder. I mean, he could always take the person he's going after, he can take their power, and use it for something else. I mean, the possibilities here, they're wide open. If they take out Hisashi Midoriya and abduct his son, a lot of things can happen for them. A lot of things can go their way. And I mean, just think about it. This kid is somebody who wants to be a hero. It's every young child's dream. So, what should they do? They should talk to Hisashi Midoriya. Possibly see if he'd be willing to bring his son into a specialized program. Maybe an early development hero program. I mean, they could say it's a lifelong project, and they could take his son away for some private testing. Say it's a medical exam, and see how far they can push him. See how well his abilities could be used. Now, everybody, they are somewhat debating about this. If they are to take on this boy as a possible replacement for later down the line, should they have him be mentored under Nagant? Should they have him encounter her at all? I mean, previous things that they have seen before about her, it doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, sometimes she seems to be thinking. She seems to be very much understanding that what she's doing, she doesn't seem to agree with it. Yes, she is somebody they do use. She is one of their hands. She is one of their tools. Fact is, she herself seems to be changing, trying to question things, try to understand more about the world. Just like heroes, they aren't all good. They are not all cut and dry. And right now, that is what currently does make a few people concerned. If Deku is mentored under her, she might try to get Deku to think like this. I mean, she questions them, but they want somebody who they won't. And right now, that's one of the things to have in mind. They need somebody who won't question them. And Nagant, she could have interactions with this child, but at the same time, they can also check to see if his quirk can take on her abilities. In effect, making a second, backup. I mean, the boy's powers, they're strong enough to copy powers that are mutations, but his body doesn't show any apparent signs of this. So, there's also that. Now, a plan is currently made, And right now the decision for right now is to not have the boy encounter Nagans. However, that decision, it might change in the future. Now, there actually is Deku, or, well, Hasashi Midoriya, who, while he is currently working today for the Hero Committee, he actually is called by somebody. Him picking up the phone, as right now he actually does go to walk into an office a few minutes later. Him sitting down. Yes, Mr. Chairman. You wanted to speak to me? Hasashi Midoriya, correct? Yes, sir. Interesting. Your file says that you've been working with us for almost 5 years? Yes, sir. Um, Before that I worked a simple office job. And, well, I found an open position in your company, working with the Hero Committee. It pays better, and Mr. Midoriya, I didn't ask for your life story. Yes, sir. All right. Good. It has come to my attention recently that a program of ours has been made, and many people, they have been talking, discussing much. Mr. Midoriya, you have a son, correct? Yes, I do, but what does that have to do with my position here? Mr. Midoriya, I'm simply asking a question. Many people have been looking at our files, and even some public records. Is something wrong? No, no. We just had to verify a few things. Listen, Mr. Midoriya. The Hero Community, they have a lot on their plate at the moment. And with the fact that many people in the oncoming years will develop more and more interesting powers, there's also many people who are concerned. Ooh, what do you mean? Well, it's been theorized that within the next 10 to 15 possible years, All Might retire one day. Really? I mean, it does make sense, sir. The man's going to be up there in age. Retirement will eventually be an option. Exactly. So, we have many things on our minds. Many people, especially of the higher ups. They wanted to create a program. Mr. Midoriya, we'd like your son to enroll in it. Excuse me? Yes, Mr. Midoriya. Listen, we won't sugarcoat this at all. The program's initiative is to help create a hero team. One day in the future, the team, one day they'll be able to replace All Might. In fact, it's within our hope that one day heroes like this, they actually will be very high up there in numbers, in the ranking. As you know, All Might and many other members of the top 10 at the current moment, they all are heroes from UA. Yes, I'm aware of that. Okay, good. You should understand. We have smaller programs like this. We have people training under our own jurisdiction. We have many places and many areas that really they aren't the same as what we do plan to do here now. I'm sorry? Mr. Midoriya, please let me finish. What we do aim to do is help you. You and your son. If you do agree to our terms and allow your son to be part of our program, many things can happen for you in the future. Along with a hefty pay increase and even a promotion, you will also be able to be relocated. Relocated? Yes, Mr. Midoriya. I mean, it may take some time. It may be an issue at first. However, our aim of this program is to help young heroes develop their powers and one day reach their maximum abilities by the time they do become pros. That way, whenever there is crime, they will be ready. More ready and more trained than anybody. In fact, your son may not even need to try out for UA. He can go to other hero schools and be a pro. His reputation can be all thanks to the Hero Committee, and we can actually expand jurisdiction with our own program. Uh, um, well, I mean, it's just so sudden at the moment. We understand, Mr. Midoriya. However, do please take into consideration our offer. Now, the chairman is going to bring in a file, him sliding it forwards and telling Asashi, right now, this is the current offer. And right now, these are the current terms and things Asashi would be expecting. The man going to turn around and informing Asashi as he has going to pull his phone out that he's receiving a call at the moment. Please see himself out. Now, Hasashi was going to leave the room, and right now the man is going to stand up and put the phone to his ear, him expressing a few things that have currently been happening. Now, the man does express, right now he has set the bait, and all they do really need to do now is check to see if something will happen. If the bait isn't taken, then an alternative will have to happen. Their hand might need to be forced, and a cover-up will have to be made. However, the offer, it is very beneficial. Now, right now Hasashi, he does think about this. He goes back to work, and then he does go home. And then there actually is the next day. Hasashi wakes up early, only to remember today's his day off. And that does sort of mess with him. I mean, he was so distracted he forgot to turn off his alarm. And now he's sitting there thinking. Him going to pull open his drawer and look at this piece of paper. I mean, the offer, the program, the benefits, it's all good, but he won't be the one putting in effort. I mean, should he just sign it? Or no, this will affect his son. Okay. Okay. Okay, he needs to talk to Inko. He needs to see about possibly talking to their son. And that is just the thing. Right now, Hisashi, he does have a lot on his mind. And right now, he does think about that. As there actually is whenever Inko would go to wake up and someone going to roll over. Her finding that Hisashi, he's not in bed. And right now, she's going to get up and try to walk outside. Her walking to the living room and finding that Hisashi, he currently is sitting there with a cup of coffee. Him asking Inko if they can talk for a minute. As he does go pour her a cup of coffee and make it the way she does like. Now, Inko is going to walk over, asking Hisashi exactly what is it, before sitting down. And Hisashi, he does try to tell her. Yesterday he spoke to the chairman, and he offered him something. Now, the two are going to talk, and Inko, she is somewhat alarmed. But, I mean, everything she's seeing laid out in front of her, benefits, extra pay, I mean, Hisashi's salary, it's increased by 25%. And I mean, the benefits for Izuku, learning how to fully understand his powers, I mean, his powers are strange to even her. And he's already fried, what, one video game and the computer? So, this could help him in the end. I mean, yes, Deku, he'll be taken away from public school, but he'll be given private tutoring, and even being taught by pro heroes. I mean, Izuku, he loves All Might. He's his idol. And right now, he might have the chance to actually follow in their footsteps. Be one of the greats with this program. But they should talk to Izuku. I mean, he might be on board with it, but they're not just going to sign his life away. Not without talking to him first. Now, With that being said, Deku, he would wake up. And right now, Inko and Asashi, they do both sit there. And they do try to talk to their son about possibly entering a hero program early on. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.